Mueller Time Podcast is sponsored by Diefendorf, the American watch company for people who do life differently. Mel, welcome back to Mueller Time.
Hey, thanks, Eric. I appreciate that.
Chris is going to be coming back real soon. He's on a little bit of a hiatus. Like I was just telling you before, the Trump stuff can get to you at times, so I encourage all you guys to just occasionally just take a break, do something fun. But
get out of the house.
Yeah.
Turn off the TV. Get off the Instagram. Get off the Facebook.
Yeah, but he's going to be back real soon. This is the last show of 2018.
Yeah. 2018. What a year, man.
Yeah, hard to believe, huh?
Nothing's hard to believe anymore.
Yeah. So I thought we'd just start by you did a little bit of this last week, but I thought we'd just summarize kind of what went down.
Yeah, I was going to continue reading from last week.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and that's it.
Yeah. And everyone who listens to this show knows,
Right.
but I have gotten a couple messages over the show's run where people said, hey, can you just go over what happened?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I've avoided that is because this show ultimately has to be entertaining on some level, and it's boring. But today, of all shows, I think is a
Right.
good time.
Okay.
So just to do it in my own words, I'm sure, well, it's too much to do, but the Mueller investigation, which initially started as just an FBI investigation into Trump's connection to Russia, which was codenamed Crossfire Hurricane after the Rolling Stones song.
Okay.
Yeah, by Peter Strzok. Later, essentially, was folded into what we know as the Mueller investigation when Jeff Sessions recused himself and Rod Rosenstein appointed Robert Mueller.
Right.
Which has led to where we are now, which is, not much really from the Republicans' perspective, just 192 criminal charges.
Right. Exactly.
36 indictments, 8 convictions, and 4 prison sentences.
Well, Giuliani said, that, hey, this should have been wrapped up last March or April, and that there is no collusion, and that there's absolutely no collusion at all. And even if there was collusion, there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think he even, at this point, I wonder, does he
even know what he's talking about? He's
No.
definitely the older grandfather in the house that you should not be listening to anymore.
Yeah. Him and Trump have that in common. They're just,
Right.
right? I mean,
Right. They're old and senile. We should not be listening to them anymore.
right. So Robert Mueller was appointed, the former director of the FBI, who, even before this happened, was roundly considered the most honest and respected person in Washington, D.C.
Right. And a Republican.
And a Republican, which, I mean, I want to know someday, we still haven't gotten the story about how Rod Rosenstein chose him, and I would love to know about that conversation. That has not been written about.
Right. Well, Mueller has been, just a stand-up guy from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
What's happened is that Bush appointed him and did such a great job that when Obama got into office, Obama had to go to the Senate to reconfirm Mueller again for an additional 2 years, because that's just the type of guy he is, a no-nonsense guy. He gets right to the point.
Right.
So we got the best guy in charge of this investigation.
Right. I do hope in some books someday I just really want to know, not if Rod Rosenstein had a short list. Was it 3 guys? Was it 4? Or was it just Mueller?
I think it was just Mueller.
You think it was?
I think so.
Yeah. And I would like to know if his political party played into it, because that's frankly a genius move.
Right. To get a Republican in there.
Yeah, as much as through this time he's tried to say things like 12 angry Democrats or things like that.
Right.
Because he chose a Republican, it's been much, much harder.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's to this day, to right now, it's the most successful special counsel investigation in history. The average special counsel investigation goes for somewhere between 3 to 5 years. It's been not even 2 years.
Right.
And half of Washington is in jail. and more.
And more to come.
And a lot more to come.
Right.
So you went over it last week, and our listeners know who's in jail, and who's going to jail. So I don't really have to probably go through all of them, but you know.
Well, I mean, you should probably just once again get in there and just tell everybody.
Yeah. I'll run through just the greatest hits.
Okay.
Paul Manafort, Rick Gates, George Papadopoulos. I mean, there's
The Russians.
the Russians. So next on the list, Trump Jr.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Did you mention Rick Gates? And
Yeah.
don't forget about our boy Flynn.
Mike Flynn. Right. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And I hold our listeners in the highest regard, so they know who went to jail. But
Right.
it is good every once in a while just to kind of step back and really look at where we are. I mean, 192 criminal charges.
Right.
When have you ever heard of something like that?
No, I've never heard of anything like that. And plus, we have FBI in other states doing stuff as well. So New York, they're doing things.
Right.
Jersey, they're looking into other things as well.
Right. Aspects of the investigation have been farmed out because there's to other agencies.
Because there's just so much corruption.
Yeah.
It's just too much corruption for one team to handle. It's just too much.
Yeah. One investigation I'm going to go into later, which was farmed out earlier this week. And then one correction I have about something we talked about last week also has to do with that. So in summary, it's the biggest special counsel investigation in history. It's the greatest scandal in American history. I'm proud to be doing this show, to be living through it.
Right. Yeah, this is an important time in history.
Yeah.
We'll look back on everything that took place during this time, and podcasts like this and special news reports and everything that's been happening on NPR and MSNBC, and how Fox has shown the news and all the different biases of all the different news organizations. This is going to be a really, really important time in history when we look back at all of this. Yeah.
And someday, people might listen to the Mueller Time podcast and say, the fuck are those guys talking about? I mean, they seem to know what they're talking about, but
really, do they?
But do they, for real?
But do they really? Yeah, it's been a fun time being on the show with you, Eric.
Man, I'm looking forward to next year. Not just Chris coming back and you, of course, but a bunch of other people and some interviews I have planned as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Well, now we finally know how old Trump is mentally. He's an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Because 7-year-olds still believe in Santa Claus.
Yeah. Oh,
but he's 8. He's 8.
We're going to get to that. So now that we've kind of brought you over there, the government is still shut down.
Yes.
I wanted to start with that.
Okay.
Because of how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, no, it is ridiculous. So they shut it down over $5 billion for this wall. And if the government has $5 billion just to throw around, just willy-nilly like this, there's other things that we could do with that $5 billion. For instance, maybe house the homeless. Mm-hmm. $5 billion is a lot of money. And I've looked into maybe 3D printing a house to see how much that would cost. And there's a company out there called Icon, which can do a 3D printed house for $10,000.
Really?
Yeah. So if they can build a 3D printed house for $10,000, and we got $5 billion to throw around for a border wall, maybe we should put that to housing. That would be about 500,000 houses.
And they offered him $25 billion. He was offered $25 billion. And the world's worst negotiator negotiated down to $5 billion.
Yeah, no, that's what's sad about all this, is that he claims to be the guy, the art of the deal, and no deal's going on. People are actually not getting paid. Rent's due. It's ridiculous out there. And he's throwing around $5 billion. If you were to ask Trump how many houses he could get with that $5 billion, most likely his answer would be 4.
Yeah. No, I know.
Mm-hmm. But yet we can do, with that $5 billion, at least $500,000. Now, this company also believes that if they were able to get their production to scale, that actually they could reduce the cost to about $4,000 a home. And at $4,000 a home, that's over 1 million homes that could be built, like 1,250,000 homes that could be built. Just over this $5 billion that we're talking about, throwing around back and forth for a border wall.
one of the reasons I call the modern Republican Party terrorists, which is an extreme word, is because this is exactly why. This shutdown is terrorism.
It is.
It's a political act. Maybe it's not technically what you would call violent, but if you see what they're throwing these people's lives and our lives into chaos,
Right.
we're more in danger because when you shut down part of the Department of Homeland Security, that puts all of us at risk.
There's 800,000 people now not getting paid.
Right. And a lot of them work at TSA. You think you'd want to keep our airport security paid?
Right. What about the EPA?
EPA? Oh, they've been trying to.
They've been trying to get rid of EPA forever.
But you're right. No, but your point is correct.
Mm-hmm.
For nothing.
For nothing. Over a border wall.
Yeah.
But now, if this shutdown included their salaries, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Like I think you brought that up last week. That should be a law.
Yeah, it should be a law. Their salaries should be included in that.
I want to give a plug. You talked about Trump's mental state. Unfit, the documentary. Now, yesterday I was fortunate enough to interview the director of this new documentary, Dan Partland, and also Art Haran, who I didn't interview, but he was nice enough. He's one of the producers of The Usual Suspects, and he hooked me up with Dan. So anyway, guys, this is a new documentary about Trump's mental state. I know you think you know about it already, but
right.
They're crowdfunding it right now. These guys they're multi-Emmy Award winners, so this is like a real thing. Go to Kickstarter and check it out. And I will have that interview up as soon as possible, but I just wanted to let everyone know this is a project worth looking into. They're partnered up with this coalition called Duty to Warn. And it's a bunch of, I told you about it.
Right, so, exactly. And instead of, us trying to do an anti-wall crowdfunding, why don't we just give to these guys and get this movie done?
Yeah.
That's what we should do with our money.
And one of the things I talked about with Dan was that, we all know this dude is nuts, but putting it in this movie form it's an effective way to really communicate that. And in the same way that, like, did you see Active Measures, the documentary?
No, I didn't.
It's like they took the Trump-Russia thing and put it into a movie. Like, we know that Trump and Russia, like, we know what's up with this dude, but it doesn't hurt to make a movie out of it.
Right. Well, we're going to have plenty of movies, like I said.
Like you said, the TV shows.
Yeah, we're going to have the TV shows, the cartoons.
The games.
The comic books, the drinking games. It's going to be a Trump extravaganza.
Yeah.
We're going to be Trumping for at least the next 100 years.
I'm looking forward to the Mike Flynn drinking game.
Right. I mean, this is going to be fantastic. I can't wait for them to put it all into perspective and into context. Because right now we're getting it at a day by day, just a slow, just drain of information. But once we're able to put it all in context and, get the big picture of all that's going on, our minds are going to be blown.
Yeah. The movies, the TV shows.
Right. I don't think anybody will vote for Republicans again after this is all over with.
That's I mean, at least with this incarnation of their party, that's certainly fine
They're
by me.
definitely going to have to change.
And then the New York Times dropped the Bone Spurs story.
The Bone Spurs.
Yeah, so this was like my favorite, like, in terms of, I hate to call it entertainment, but it was like my smile story of the week. Like, every week there's like 10 Trump scandals, but
right, but there's always one that's just, aw, that's funny.
So the Times located two women whose father was like a podiatrist,
right?
But like he worked out of one of those like storefronts.
Well, he was in, but didn't they live in one of Fred Trump's apartments?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I think what it was his business was Fred Trump owned it.
Okay, so his business was in. Okay.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge. And sorry, I was laughing too hard to catch all the details.
Okay.
For some reason, what I also found funny was that, like, I don't know why, but it's just always funny to me when like a doctor professional is working out of like a mall. I've always found that kind of like amusing.
Yeah, I do too. I do find that weird when the dentist is in the strip mall. Yeah. I'm like, really?
Like you want to hit Taco Bell and get your foot looked at?
Right. Exactly. My favorite is when the gun store is next to the liquor store.
Oh.
Or the toy store.
What?
I've seen that.
Growing up?
Yeah. No, I've seen that. You travel down to the South, you will find a strip mall that will have a gun store and a toy store and a liquor store all in the same strip mall.
Because you sounded like Lawrence Fishburne for a second. Remember in Boys, he's like, why is a gun store always? He's like,
yeah.
in our community. Yeah.
Yeah. Always, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, basically this guy's father was a podiatrist who got Trump out of Vietnam.
Right, by saying that he had bone spurs. And
Yeah.
did it as a favor to Fred Trump.
Yeah, and they said these women said for the rest of his life, Fred Trump was always available.
Right.
Like
those were his daughters.
Yeah. Yeah, he's no longer around.
Mm-hmm. He died, but his daughters have come forward and said, yeah, my dad did that for Fred Trump so his son wouldn't have to go to Vietnam.
Yeah.
So we'll just say he had bone spurs.
Right. And a lot of people did that, and it's not that you got out of an immoral and absurd war. No one can blame you, but it's that who he is, that he's a fake tough guy.
Right.
Who mocks other brave veterans.
Right. And that's just the point that we're calling out here. We know a lot of people went to Canada. A lot of people disagreed. Muhammad Ali,
of course,
at the time also disagreed in the war and everything that was going on. So I get that, but at the same time, he kind of did it slightly a chicken shit type of way. And again, the main reason why we talk about this, because he is the type of guy to just mock veterans or anybody with disabilities or anything else. So for him being a bully and to pussy out of going to war, that's what makes it interesting to me.
Right. And that was like his 5th deferment. He got 4 without the podiatrist.
Right.
So, he was already like Mr. Deferment.
Right. But, it doesn't, the bone spur doesn't hurt his golf game any. Yeah,
it's funny because it's like, so how can you be this, as you call yourself, like this great physical specimen, which you're not, and also have a life-threatening bone spur at the age of 18? Like those things aren't compatible.
Right. Well, it's Trump. Anything's possible with Trump.
Right.
Look at that hair. That hair is impossible, but he makes it happen.
Yeah.
That looks like an impossibility.
Yeah. And there's a lot of contradictions there. And then McClatchy, did you see the McClatchy story on Michael Cohen back in Prague?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's funny to me about that is these old guys don't know anything about technology. They don't know how cell phones work and that you're constantly being tracked. So he's like, no, I've never been in Prague. Never, ever. Oh, we got you pinging off these towers in Prague. Oh, by the way, and you're calling these Russian guys.
Yeah, but that's why they call it stupid Watergate.
Yeah, it is, because they don't know technology at all.
But so McClatchy dropped. This was like a couple months ago. They dropped a blockbuster that was the original incarnation of this. That Michael Cohen was in Prague, and no other organization could confirm it, which was a big deal. And then they were taking a lot of flack. I thought that was ridiculous because they're one of the, not only are they one of the best news organizations in the world, they were one of only 2 to call the Iraq War that bullshit.
Right.
Like people forgot about it. They were on that.
Right.
So I've always had like a lot of respect for them. And I knew, then fast forward to this story, they have 4 independent sources, as you know, who said that Michael Cohen's cell phone was pinged in Prague.
Right.
4. And they're 4 independent of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then a separate source picked up Russian, some Russian on intercepts saying that Michael Cohen was in Prague.
Right.
So yeah, that is a third-hand kind of account, but this is a trustworthy organization. It's not fucking like...
Right. Well, we got him pinging off the towers.
Right.
That's cold hard facts right there.
Right. And that's in the Steele dossier, of course, that he went to Prague.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's his phone.
Right. It is.
Yeah. Of course, if that's true, it means that he was there, as the Steele dossier says, to pay Russian hackers and do God knows what else.
Yeah, or to just look into getting Russian hackers or something.
Yeah.
I'm not 1,000% on the collusion. I think they were trying to collude and that things worked out in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
I almost think they're too stupid to collude.
You think so?
Yeah.
No. I think that this was just I think that what happened was going on for a long time, and this was just a piece of it. I don't know if Michael Cohen even knew every piece of the puzzle. I think what Trump and Russia, as we know, go back real far. And you could be right. I mean, some things are just throwing a bunch of darts at a board and seeing what sticks.
Right.
you have morons like George Papadopoulos, but you also have some fairly savvy players like Paul Manafort, who absolutely were like Mr. Collusion. So, look, you could be right. All will be revealed.
Yeah, all will be revealed in time.
But yeah, so that Michael Cohen story was pretty big. His phone was pinged somewhere in Prague. He is repeatedly denying this.
Right. But I love his tweets, though. Mueller knows everything.
Yeah.
These guys, I believe Trump and all his little cronies, they're all tweeting now in code.
Right.
So
he actually blocked me. I'm not sure if you know that story, but last year I asked him. Yeah. So I'm still blocked. I'm hoping to get unblocked.
We'll repeat that story again.
Well, it was just there was an article in Newsweek that he did a shady deal with. This was on the side, like he did his own shady deal. He sold some buildings, and he laundered some money. That's how it read to me. So I tweeted him just one afternoon. I said, Mike, why did you launder this money for the Russians? And then, like shortly later, I looked at my phone and I have a response. This wasn't even from the Mueller Time podcast. This was just from my personal account. Mm-hmm. It was like contrary to your bias remark. And then he said that was a family trust. And then it was like block.
Wow.
And I was like, word, I'm coming up. You know?
You got his attention.
Yeah, I should have called the special counsel right then. But
you got his attention. You should have got Mueller on the line right then.
My sole contact with the special counsel has been, I'm not sure if you know this, but I emailed them the podcast. I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I sent them a complimentary email.
Okay.
I said, what the hell? Like, somebody's going to read this email. Like, it's not Mr. Mueller, but, somebody
somewhere. They'll listen to the podcast, maybe.
Yeah. Hey, it could get to them.
Maybe.
I probably wouldn't listen to a show if I was working 15 hours a day on the Mueller investigation. Like, I wouldn't want to hear another show. Mm-hmm. But you never know.
Right. Well, I don't even open up emails from people I don't know. If I get an email with an attachment, nope, don't answer.
That's why you're not a Trump supporter.
No, exactly.
If you were a Trump supporter, you open up everything.
I open up everything.
Yeah.
No. Even Chase one day sent me an email talking about something, and they needed my social security number or whatever. I was like, wait, what? Huh?
No.
Nah. I'm out. Nope.
Yeah.
Delete. It could have been legit, or it could have been fake. But
with Michael Cohen, just one more thing about that. Someone noted that not only is he denying it, but at one point he testified that he'd never been to Prague.
Right.
And a lot of people have noted, well, why didn't Mueller charge him with lying to Congress? I'm not, again, this is all speculation, but maybe that's part of something he doesn't want the public to know about yet. If you charge the guy with something, then everyone's going to know that he was in Prague. So maybe there's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, that's what I believe. There's much bigger fish to fry. That's so low on Mueller's list. You lied to me about Prague. Whatever.
Yeah, right. We've got
we got so much more on you, dude.
We have a lot to talk about.
Exactly.
So Trump told a 7-year-old that Santa's not real.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. That's what a 7-year-old girl.
Literally cementing your reputation as that's why comedy writers are having so much trouble now. That's
right.
Literally, as a comedy writer myself, that's something I would write in a sketch.
Mm-hmm.
But it happened.
But it happens in real life. Right?
See, you can't write it.
You can't make this stuff up. It's all too good. So now we understand that Trump's mental age is not 5 like we thought it was for having a tantrum over this border wall, but his actual mental age is 8.
Right.
Because he's the bully that doesn't believe in Santa Claus no more, and it's going to bully all the other kids because they do.
Right. Like what? Seriously, like what are you doing? Like who does that?
Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Trump.
And he, some people noted he appeared to be almost smiling. I mean, it's pretty sick stuff.
Yeah, no, he's a twisted dude. But apparently he cleaned up his act right after that.
Oh, how's that?
Yeah, he cleaned up his act after that, and the next kids.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was like, "Ooh, Santa's coming, yay!"
Yeah, maybe his wife kicked him or something.
Something happened. Something happened, or the blood red trees started bleeding.
That's what goes into this this documentary, Unfit, that I was telling you guys about. the Kickstarter where they go into this thing called malignant narcissism, which is what he is, and how that brings about behavior like that. Totally bizarre, off the wall, sociopathic.
Yeah. Well, we know he's a sociopath.
Right.
That we already know. He's he's old though.
Yeah.
And we got to remember that too. He's old, he's senile.
Yeah. Yeah. He eats a lot of, fast food that was popular like in the 80s.
Right.
Remember when like McDonald's was like, that was like a special night out.
I thought you were going to say, remember when McDonald's was good? I was going to say, it tasted great, but I don't think it was ever good for us, though.
You ever watch some old McDonald's commercials, like from like back in the day, like
with the Hamburglar and Grimace?
Even just the way they portrayed like people, yeah, that too. But it was hilarious. Like if you go on YouTube and just watch some old fast food commercials,
okay,
they're a genre in and of kind of unto themselves,
right? Yeah, look, you do anything in our past here, and it's hilarious. We go back and just look at movies that were done in the 80s and how it wouldn't even stand up today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the market continues to crash. There was a big one in between last show and this show.
Right, but then it's rebounded since.
Yeah, rebounded for about a day, so that was good.
Mm-hmm.
The shutdown and just in general, this chaos is what's going on.
Right.
And the one thing that these Trump supporters have always touted, like, when you're, I don't know, you're at Thanksgiving dinner with one of them, is the stock market. And now they're going to lose that too.
Right. And that was one of the things that I always thought about as well. I always commented on, something is going on because the stock market's still just trucking along fine,
right,
even with all these tweets. But now, not so much anymore.
It can't. This type of chaos is eventually going to affect the markets.
Right. Well, as we know, the adult in the room is now gone. He quit.
Yeah.
So, we have no idea what's about to happen next.
Except for Diefendorf, our sponsor. Diefendorf is the American watch company for people who do life differently. I'm rocking it right here, Mel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Swiss movement.
It's nice.
Yeah. So if you guys go to getagreatwatch.com, you get $50 off with, do you remember the discount code, Mel?
Lock him up.
Lock him up.
Lock him up.
Yeah. They're great watches assembled in the USA, and they're our first sponsor, so we love them.
Yeah, and they're nice watches. I really do like that watch.
Yeah, Mel stole. He was trying to steal Chris's.
I'm still going to jack Chris's watch. He parks right next to me. I'm going to jack his watch. I'm going to be waiting for him.
I might be there too, in the background, like.
Yeah, you're going to help me.
Yeah.
You're going to help me. You're going to lure him out. You're going to say, "Hey, Mueller," and Chris is going to turn around.
Is that Rob? Is that Robert Mueller right there?
Chris is going to turn around. I'm going to jack that watch.
So yeah, go to getagreatwatch.com, and not only are you supporting Diefendorf, you're supporting Mueller Time as well.
Nice.
Matt Whitaker, our new Attorney General.
The All-American?
You know it. Yeah. You saw that?
He's an All-American.
Yeah. So you want to tell the people, or should I tell the people?
Yeah, you go ahead and tell the people about our All-American.
So Matt Whitaker, a.k.a. the Kingpin, who I call because he looks like the Kingpin.
He does look like the Kingpin.
Matt Whitaker has been lying about being an All-American. I don't mean like one time. Like, this is on this dude's resume, like right now.
Right, exactly.
Like everywhere. It's so crazy too, because why would you pick that one thing?
Yeah, right. Why do you put that on your resume? When I read this, I just remembered that I'm actually in who's who of high school students.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm in the book. I'm actually in the book of who's who for high school students, and I've never, ever brought that up or put that in anything or on any resume at any time.
If I knew that, I would have been a lot nicer to you.
Thanks.
I didn't know you were royalty.
But that was just so weird to me, and it totally flashed me back. But for him, he was All-American in college. So I guess that's a little more relevant, but still kind of weird that you put that in your resume.
this is where we are. This is so insane. That is a lie like that is an instant disqualifier from pretty much anything in law or law enforcement. Like something,
Right.
you won't get a job.
Right.
And not only has he gotten a job, he's at the highest, our nation's top law enforcement job,
Right.
and he's still there. Like,
Well, you know, crooks. We all got crooks, hiring crooks and being crooks. And look at the temperament of our latest Supreme Court justice.
oh man,
Come on.
dude,
Come on. That's
Dude.
not the temperament of a Supreme Court justice at all. I like beer. So what? I like beer.
dude, that
Beer.
yeah.
I like beer.
Well, because he was jonesing like a motherfucker.
He was. He had to have been.
Come on, like, dude,
I like beer.
all you have to know is at least one alcoholic or drug addict, and then look at him and to know,
Right. I was hanging out with Squee. We're doing we're weights and drinking beer.
like, dude, I mean, he did everything but scratch at his collar, like Tyrone Biggums from
Right.
Chappelle's show.
Like a crackhead.
Yeah.
He was pretty much.
He was bugging.
He was definitely bugging out. He lost it on that one. But that temperament is not the temperament that you want for Supreme Court justice.
Dude, I was reading about this one thing with him that was so like this woman came. This was just like a month ago. She worked with him on, I think when he worked on the Ken Starr investigation, because he's worked on every shitty fucking right wing hit job.
Right.
This woman remembered one night, she's working. It's late, and he came in like a fucking lunatic. He walked up to her. She had just been hired. He's like, "Who are you? Like, who are you working for?" Like. It wasn't even like Kavanaugh being the usual Kavanaugh, like Blackout Brett, the rapist.
Right.
He was more like paranoid Kavanaugh. And I'm sure he was intoxicated.
Yeah.
But who does that?
Look, it's a whole list of weirdos that we've got going on here. It's a full-on circus jumping off in D.C. right now.
But you're right though, man. That hearing, that's an all-timer. Like, the hearing with Squee.
Mm-hmm. It was great. It was great political theater. I feel sorry for what's her name? Blasey Ford.
Yeah, Christine Blasey, Dr. Ford.
Christine. Yeah, Dr. Ford. I feel sorry for her.
I know.
But I mean, she showed true strength.
Yep.
And I hope that's inspiring to pretty much everybody out there. You know, no matter what, just stand up for what you believe in and for what's right, even if they're going to slap you down.
That's what. Yep.
History's going to go back and say, hey, at least she stood up to him.
Absolutely.
You know.
And by the way, oh no, what were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that Kavanaugh, it's not done. I mean, yeah, he was appointed. You can be impeached from the Supreme Court. And I know people might say that's crazy, but we're taking the power back in about 4 days. And you can bet there's going to be some investigations into what went down.
You really think so? I never thought about that before.
Absolutely. I'm not saying they're going to impeach him because that itself is a can of worms, but they absolutely can open investigations into why the FBI just was like, yeah, like a one-day investigation.
Right. It was so blasé about it all. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, we can definitely dredge up some of that.
I don't know. I don't know if I would go there, though, honestly. I think I would just let him dig his own grave by making some real bad decisions.
Like Squee?
Yeah. Making some real bad decisions and then just see what happens from there.
Dude, I've never seen someone so proud that they drank beer.
He definitely is a proud beer drinker.
Like he said that like it wasn't just beer. It was this whole like American thing. The beer symbolized
Right.
a freedom.
Right.
And just this kind of this lifestyle. Like we were free back then. You know?
We were free. We were wild. We were drinking beer. We were lifting weights.
It was a different America where I could drink and then freely like try to rape girls that came into my immediate area.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty sad.
You could hear like the fucking like music in the background, almost
Right.
like the Neil Diamond, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's like,
Oh my God, yeah.
like what the fuck?
Yeah, he is. He's a very interesting young man. But that was very interesting times though as well. Though the early '80s, I'm quite sure if they were able to go back and do an investigation of that private school, that they would find a lot more.
Well, that other guy, Mark Judge, the one who was hiding out,
Right.
yo, that guy's a full-on dirtbag. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah.
I didn't know. I let it all go after the confirmation I let all those people go because honestly, there's just too much going on to keep this circus in my head.
He wrote some books about his exploits where he loosely sort of.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I read this other thing where he was a bartender. I mean, excuse me. He hung out at this bar in D.C. and this bartender they interviewed was just like, that was the guy that you knew when he walked in. Everybody was like, fuck, like
it's going to be trouble.
I guess like he hadn't done enough to get banned, but they hated him.
Oh, okay. So just a total ass.
Yeah, exactly. That one guy.
Just that jerk. Oh, here comes that jerk. Yeah.
You know,
I
when
can
they
see that.
You know, he tried to hide out for a while when this went down, but they finally found him in a '96 Civic with all this yeah. He had
Really?
comic books on. I think he was living in his car.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Or something.
Wow. Deep. I did not know.
But Squee did all right. You know,
Squee did good. That's got to be a movie in itself also.
but it's just like, again, like I keep the comic side of it keeps going back to like one of these nostalgic movies, like, I don't know.
Risky Business or
Just some, but like even more like
The Breakfast Club.
some shit like that, like John Hughes, but to him,
Right.
or Summer of 42, but him, it's drinking.
Right. No, it's definitely, it's Porky's.
Bryan Adams, The Summer of 69, like
He's Porky's.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
Porky's.
yeah.
He's definitely Porky's. Or any of those other late 70s, early 80s, Revenge of the Cheerleaders and
Basically.
all that corny high school debauchery films. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh yeah.
You know.
We found out this week that Mueller handed off another investigation about his Bedminster Club.
In Jersey?
Yeah, exactly. And how they hire, and apparently they got a real scam going on there.
Where they handpick these people, bring them in, give them green cards.
Fake documents.
Fake documents.
So,
and fast track them. I think they're also fast tracking those people to become citizens.
the people who
That
work,
get hired at Trump, yeah.
that I didn't read. I mean, that would be a surprise given his attitude. But I mean, one thing is clear that they seem to have a very well-oiled operation.
Mm-hmm.
And
They
when,
do.
And when it started, they referred. The New York Times was the one who broke that article, and then lawyers got involved, and they referred it to Mueller, who looked into it, and
Right.
I guess and referred it to
The FBI in Jersey.
right.
So now we got FBI in Jersey doing stuff, FBI in New York, D.C.
Oh yeah,
It's FBI everywhere. Pretty soon, I'm quite sure Florida come up.
shoot.
Thank God California's been staying out of the way.
Yeah, well, Trump's his sole accomplishment in California, unfortunately, is what put him here, which is The Apprentice. But
Right.
it's just amazing how every aspect of his life. If they were doing that at Bedminster, like you don't just set up an operation like that on your own. Like they were told to do that.
Can we just say no, that's not California's fault for The Apprentice and that's New York's fault? Because we'll just say it was NBC in New York that greenlit that, and it was NBC and it was shot in New York. So let's give all that trouble back to New York.
I want to, at a later point, I want to actually have a long discussion about, as someone who works in Hollywood, and of course, you have grown up there. I want to talk about The Apprentice, and there was that big article last week about Mark Burnett.
Right.
It was the first big one I've seen on the development of The Apprentice.
Okay.
I'm forgetting now where. I think it was in the New Yorker.
Okay.
It's up on the Mueller Time Facebook page, but you would get into it. It's all about how he came up with the concept and how Trump is just this fucking moron that Burnett
Just
managed.
manipulated and managed and
He yeah. I mean, there's stuff about him not being able to read, like
yeah, no,
the usual.
Yeah, the usual stuff. Yeah, for sure.
It's a
And
good
Mark Burnett has all the tapes still of all of apparently Trump using the N-word and grabbing girls and all sorts of stuff.
Last week, Trump also revealed the identities of SEAL Team 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he doesn't, again, old folks that don't understand technology. So he actually takes a picture with SEAL Team 5 members and tweets it out. Well, that tweet also contains, GPS coordinates and everything else. So now they know exactly where SEAL Team is and they know exactly who they are. So now when they capture them, they got the photo to match it up.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, this is SEAL Team 5. This guy's going to be worth a lot more to the U.S. than just some regular Joe Blow.
It's like, it sounds crazy to even say this, but given what we do know about how he's given intelligence away, you wonder sometimes, is that intentional?
He's old. He doesn't know.
You think it's just
He's
Trump
just
being
old.
just stupid?
Yeah, he's just old. Remember, he's 8 years old. If you give an 8-year-old Twitter, this is what happens.
He takes these people's photos and releases them.
Mm-hmm.
They have no option. As I tried to explain to a Trump supporter last week who didn't get it, like she was like, they could have refused. No, they can't.
No,
They're fucking soldiers.
Yeah, no, what happens? No, they don't refuse. You don't refuse.
Are you kidding me?
What happens is that they digitize the photos. Because this isn't the first time a SEAL team member has had a photo taken with a president or another official. But what they do is that they digitize the photo so you can't make out who the person is.
You see the one when Bush did that? Same thing. But you're right. They digitize the faces.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what a sane...
Right. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be tweeting.
No.
You're not supposed to be tweeting. You're supposed to let the White House handle the security of all these photos and everything else. You're not supposed to take the picture of yourself on your cell phone and tweet it out. But he's old. He doesn't know technology.
It's not even just a regular soldier. It's the fucking SEAL Team 5.
Right.
The team, the same... The guys that caught Osama bin Laden, right? It was SEAL Team 6. But it's the same. There's just different units.
Right.
That's how secretive these guys are.
Oh, yeah. No, the SEAL team, you're never supposed to know anything about these guys, ever. And Trump just gave it up. But he's an old man.
Meanwhile, where's the Benghazi crowd? Where's what about her emails?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
So tired of all of that. But speaking of that, what do you think about Hillary running again?
For president?
Yeah.
Are you just asking me that in general, or was there some kind of talk about it?
What do you think in general about that?
I don't think that'd be a good idea.
Nobody thinks that would be a good idea.
Yeah. No. I think knowing how people who rise to that level think, who are at the top, I'm sure no matter what she says that it's somewhere in her head, especially knowing that you fucking did win.
Right.
And you got robbed. Like that would, I'd be like, fucking, I'm coming back. But no.
But that ship has sailed, my friend.
Look, I feel the same way in some ways about Biden. Like you had the moment. You could have been the president. Like you had that moment. That was the moment.
Maybe.
Shoot. Well, we'll never know.
We'll never know.
But Hillary, I mean, that's a great question that you brought up. No.
Yeah, no. We got to get somebody fresh, somebody new.
We got to win. Like.
Well, we're going to win.
Oh, yeah, no. But just to be safe, let's run somebody good.
Oh, yeah. Well,
just to be safe.
Yeah, because last time we said that with Hillary, it was like, oh, yeah, well, Hillary's winning. So, and that didn't happen. We honestly, you're right. We don't know what's going to happen.
I never even asked you, where were you on election night?
Crying. No, honestly, I came home. I saw the results going down, and I was just like, well, it'll pan out, and she's going to win. Yeah. So, all right. And I went to sleep. I did. Yeah. I went to sleep. And I woke up the next day and found out Trump won, and I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to really, what? How did you win? And that's when I had to go find out about the Electoral College and everything else. And just like, we really did it to ourselves this time. We fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
I want to get a buddy of mine who's an actor he's the one I was with on election night, and his wife. And he's a really good actor. He was actually on Friends. And he was not
just leave it at that.
Yeah.
He was on Friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd recognize him. And I've always wanted to tell that story and get his perspective too. Right. Because it was the three of us in this bar, and it was really fascinating, as crazy as that night was.
Right. And just everybody, I've heard multiple stories from everybody just being floored about what happened that night. And I just keep, it's going to be a movie, and it's going to be really hard to watch that scene when all of a sudden you just realize what happened. And that she lost and that he won. That's going to be a hard scene.
And then Time Magazine has a story that is a little long and at times boring, but It's about how Paul Manafort was basically about to get his legs broken if he didn't deliver money like ASAP to this Russian guy right when he took the job for Trump.
Right. Wow.
So it's stuff you know, but it's on timemagazine.com.
Yeah, look at these guys are these guys are just gangsters. These guys are just old school gangsters. That's why Giuliani's involved, because these guys are just old school mafia. That's all it is. Trump's been running like this forever. Trump might be mafia. We've never thought about that before.
Oh, he's mafia for sure. Or do you mean like a maid guy?
He could be.
He's too
silly.
Well, also he's not Italian.
I know you pretty much got to be Italian.
You got to be, yeah.
But he's got all that money.
But he is mafia basically. I mean, he's a gangster.
Right. He's definitely, or at least he runs with the mob for sure.
Oh yeah.
He runs with the mob for sure.
His
They
dad
get all those contracts, to get all those buildings made and everything else. Yeah, it's New York. It's a mob city.
Oh yeah. When he was coming up, I grew up in New Jersey. That mob stuff it's construction, please.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, to this day. Yeah, I could tell you some stories. I'm not going to.
Yeah, but no, for sure. Yeah, no, I want you to live.
Yeah, no, yeah. Those people are still around.
Yeah, they're still alive. I don't need you telling any stories. Let that lay.
Yeah. There's this one guy, I'll see him occasionally when I go back home.
Mm-hmm.
And he's from that world. He's like, what's going on? I'm always like, nothing. Nothing, dude.
Eric,
Yeah.
What's going on, buddy?
No.
How you doing, buddy? What's going on there?
I'm like, nothing, dude. You just lie. Nothing.
Absolutely.
I just wake up in a room and I'm in that room.
I wake up in a box. I go to work and I come home back to that box and that's it.
Because you don't want these guys to know anything.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
We got just a plug too. We got this Patreon now. If you like Mueller Time podcasts, patreon.com/Mueller Time. It's $5 a month, and it helps us produce this show.
Wow, nice. Yeah. In order for me to come back, you guys are going to have to start doing some Patreon.
Yep. And we're very thankful to our first Patreons who've already helped us cover the cost of just, running the show, which is, it's a lot of work. I mean,
it is. You should shout out their names.
I should. Well, I asked some of them didn't want me to, so I will. Okay. I know I was surprised because I'm like, but next episode we will. First one of the new year.
Well,
we'll get it.
Being that some people didn't want it.
Well, those we won't, but the others we will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Well, let them know they could get a shout out if they prefer to. How about that?
Exactly.
If you sign up for Patreon, throw in your $5, you can get a shout out from us.
Agreed. And we're working on some other rewards too.
Right. We'll even throw out your little social media stuff.
Yeah.
Your little Instagram or your little Twitter.
Yeah.
We'll throw out a little something for you, get you some more followers.
We're on Facebook at Mueller Time Podcast, Twitter at Mueller Time Pod, Instagram, the YouTube channel, which will have the YouTube channel has a lot of videos, but as I said, it's going to have a new one up tomorrow or the day after with Unfit's director, Dan Partland. Anything you want to add about?
Not too much. How was your holiday?
It was good. Actually, I would like to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think's going to happen next year?
What I think is going to happen next year? I have no idea. This circus is taking me on a wild ride. I don't even know which pill did I take. I don't know if I took the blue one or the red one. I don't know what rabbit hole we're about to go down. Next year is going to be very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Hopefully some jail time.
I want to thank...
Not for me.
Yeah. No.
Not for me. How about that?
No. Yeah, I want to thank... I just want to thank everyone who listens to this show and you. And it's been... despite the challenges of this year, mm-hmm. It's been a great year in a lot of ways. So I hope everybody just keeps listening, and we'll see y'all in 2019.